the first time President Obama got inaugurated back in 2008, he said, look, this is of the people, by the people, for the people. We are not going to have this corporate sponsored. We're not going to have lobbyists pay for it. We're going to have donors under $50,000 and corporations won't be allowed to do it. This time around, he said, yeah, whatever. Bring in corporations. Now, he's not the first one to do that. The top donor in 2004 for George W. Bush's second inauguration was ExxonMobil. Gee, I wonder if ExxonMobil wanted anything in return. I can't quite tell. Maybe those $14 billion a year in subsidies that big oil gets overall. ExxonMobil, of course, a huge part of that. Now, obviously, corporations also want a lot of goodies from the Obama administration. So they're very happy to chip in. The Obama people say, hey, well, listen, we had to raise a lot of money quickly. What else can we do? So that's the way things work. But you know what? There's a rare time where a GOP fundraiser is right. Gave a quote to Politico saying, quote, here's the guy that came to Washington and said, I'm going to come and change the way Washington works. I'm going to bring a new, basically working class to Washington. But now that I'm reelected, I have nothing to worry about in the future besides possibly my library. That quote unquote moral compass doesn't exist. Rare time that I agree with a Republican, but he's absolutely right about that. Now that I don't have to worry about anything else, I can show you my true nature. Oh, corporate money influencing us and this being a problem. They influence us all the time anyway. Look at all my decisions. Wait till I approve the second half of the Keystone Pipeline. I already approved the southern part. I'm going to approve the northern part, and the list goes on and on. Look at what I did for the for-profit schools. I said I was going to change them. I changed them 5%, basically let them go as they were. I can list you a million examples. He just leased out all the oil drilling rights in the Gulf of Mexico, and he did it in the Superdome. Of course, you remember the Superdome when Hurricane Katrina hit and people had to stay there, unaffected by climate change. Any of these issues, of course Obama was going to license out his inauguration to corporations once he got reelected and didn't have to worry about the voters after all of these elections were done. Now, what's funny is that Tony Podesta is a Democratic lobbyist, and he's defending the White House here. But listen to his defense. I think it's more damning than anything the Republicans said. Quote, I think there's been a new day of engagement since the election between corporate community and the White House. Indeed. So I imagine that companies that are being invited to the White House and are having their voices heard in the White House will find ways of supporting what is a civic event, not a political event. In other words, oh yeah. Now that the election's over, Obama doesn't have to pretend anymore. There's a new day at the White House where corporations are incredibly welcome. And basically, we're back to open for business. And that doesn't mean the business of the American people. That means crony capitalism, where big business comes in and buys big government and says, keep those competitors away. The drug companies are the best example. They literally have a monopoly. They say we cannot re-import drugs into the country, and we can't even negotiate prices with the drug companies as the government. I mean, is there a better example of the government being captured by big business that has given money to those same politicians? By the way, both Obama and Bush administrations did the same exact deal because they get paid by the same exact guys. Brian Wolf is with Edison Electric Institute, and he says about the corporate perspective on the inauguration, quote, I think most people are going to be looking to take care of their executives and the Democrats in their firms and companies. It's just going to enable corporate folks to participate. That's exactly right and exactly what I'm afraid of. It's basically saying, hey, we're going to take care of business here. We're going to have the CEOs fly in. They're going to get favored status. They already met at the White House. So they already met with Obama and told him what to do. A lot of them are also part of his advising group, the CEO of Honeywell, the CEO of GE, etc. They advise him on a weekly basis to begin with. So they're just making it a little bit more formal now. So this inauguration brought to you and bought by multinational corporations.